Everybody talks about how hard dating is. But what if it's not the pissy dating pool? What if it's the things we haven't healed from? The way we were raised, the walls we built, the armor we now call standards. This season on Connection Thru Chaos, we're not chasing connection. We're unpacking what's been blocking it. And the uncomfortable truth about how our upbringing, our traumas, and our egos shape who we choose and how we connect. And today, I have a very special guest. I know I say that all the time, but I mentioned her so much on season one that I had to start it off right. I have my best friend of over 21 years on today, Ashley. Tell them a little bit about yourself, what you got going on as I get our wine together.
Okay, so most of you know me as Ashley. I did a lot of media marketing work. You know me from Monday Night Juice, Midday Juice, all of the juicy things. And I have gone through such a transformational season of my life that my brand and my business had to as well. So I have created a community for women who go through transitions just like I did, called the Girlfriend Experience. And with the Girlfriend Experience, you can have memberships to receive more health and wellness information. Come out to some of the health and wellness events that we throw. And I also lead group therapy sessions for women called the Girlfriends Gathering.
Oh yeah, and I've been to one of them a couple of them girlfriend experiences. They was, I had to film. I was doing the filming, y'all. They was really dope. I like the community. Like I like how everyone was networking outside of just kind of like sharing their own personal stories. And
Mhm.
um, a lot of people don't understand. Like sometimes when you share your story, a lot of people don't like sharing their story, but it can have a huge impact on others,
Absolutely.
which is why I love the show and why I created it. So let's toast to a good show. This is a very Liquid Light is the brand. It's only 95 calories, less than a gram of sugar.
Thank you very
You
much,
know,
best
I had to look
friend.
out for you. Let's
Thank you.
see how it is. Pinot Grigio. I like Pinot Grigio though.
This good. I like this. I like that. That's
I like
smooth.
because it said crisp, delicious, and bright.
It's smooth.
And I think it crisp, but delicious and bright.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's that sugar percentage for me. So thank you for
Yeah, you
thanking me.
can't really tell the difference. We're gonna dive right in. And on this season, unlike the other seasons, instead of wondering how everyone else is dating, I've discovered recently because of a recent traumatic breakup. It wasn't even dramatic. I made it worse than
I was
what it
about to
was.
say you made it traumatic, but
I
okay, we're
made
gonna talk
it
about that. So
traumatic as heck. I discovered though that it's less about asking questions, and you can ask a bazillion different questions, but it's still our own traumas and how we were raised that really block the connection. Less about the questions and more so about us.
I agree with that to an extent. I also just feel like, a lot of times we meet people's, what's the word that I'm looking for? They're the characters that they want to create of who they really are instead of who they are, right?
Mm,
And so you can ask as many questions as you want, but until you've been in situations to experience certain circumstances with that person, you really don't know how they're going to respond, react, or whatever the case may be.
that is
So it's 50-50.
for sure. I mean, I would definitely still weigh it more so, like I said, now in hindsight, it's 2020, on the way you were raised, birth order, the things you went through in your 30 years of life still have a huge impact on how you do handle that situation when they do arise, or how that person handles that situation when it does arise.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, really want to dive into our own selves in this season. So it's going to be interesting. I might have to get like a little custom box of tissue with Connection Through Chaos on it, because it's going to
Hey,
be one
accountability is important, so I'm here for it.
for sure. Um, so before I dive into these questions, I want to ask, is there something as of late that you've discovered about yourself since your last relationship and or last couple of relationships, like that you maybe tied to your past traumas and or growing up and or plethora of your past?
Absolutely. So I did therapy for 5 years straight. I went once a week. I learned a lot about myself. And I know that you and I have had multiple conversations on attachment styles.
Mm-hmm.
I was 100% preoccupied attachment style, meaning I needed to feel love in order to feel value within
Mm.
myself. And when that love would be taken from me, or what I can, perceived as love, once that was taken from me, I started to question my value.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I definitely learned that about myself. I also learned that I'm a people pleaser, right? And that kind of ties into that, right? Like I go looking, well, I went 5 years does 5 years of therapy will have you correct some things. But I used to go looking for connection, right? And love as a way to validate me and
Mm.
who I am and how I walk and how I, carry myself as a woman. Odd enough, I'm the most powerful when I'm single.
Cheers to that,
Yeah,
because
I've
I
noticed
do
that.
feel the same way.
I've noticed that I'm the most powerful when I'm single. I love love, right? But I think that learning so much about myself, I have to continue to work on building this relationship with me so that when love circle backs around again, I won't question who I am and
Anything
what
about
I'm about. I
yourself.
won't question anything about myself. I think it's important to be with someone who helps you grow,
Uh-huh.
right? But I won't start to question my worth or my
Right,
value.
right.
I won't do that.
Yeah, I think that's why God set me down too, because he was like, Adam, get on your stuff.
Baby, I'm so glad God
Cause
sat you down, best friend.
whoo, he sat me down,
Down.
down. He ain't sit me, he laid me down. I
Place you by the
wasn't
green pastures.
I wasn't getting out of bed type down. Like that was crazy.
I've never seen you like that, but you've also never experienced what you just experienced. So,
That is true.
yeah,
That is true. I'm gonna drink to
take a
that.
drink.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna drink to
yeah.
that. So about that, it was so crazy. But that's when I learned a lot more about my ego.
Hmm.
But what's so crazy, last night, my ego was built back up because I went out with somebody, had a great time, and they were like, man, they just not from here. This is my friend from out of town that came to town. And we went out, had a good time, and they were like, man, you really deserve the best. Like how compassionate and passionate you
Hmm.
are and caring you are, da da da. So that pumped my ego back up, and what makes me go into that mindset of like you, like I deserve the best. Like I deserve somebody who will listen when I say, hey, that makes me feel like this. Like I would like if we sat down and talked about it, and or
Hmm.
you just not do it. I expect somebody birthday. You know what? I apologize. Cool. Or tell me more about. Lean in. Tell me more about that. Why? Da da da. Instead of like, oh, how I'm supposed to know that's not this, or how that sounds controlling. And you know what I mean? Like their past
Hmm.
getting in the way of this relationship right now as I'm communicating my offense, and they're going to defense mode, or whatever other syndrome that there are out there. Like, so I have to go back to my ego. Like, okay, well, shoot, you're right. I do deserve the best. So either get with this program or gone. Like,
So I think it's important to first point out that if you are working or if you are operating in your authenticity and being genuine, we all deserve the best.
right.
We all deserve to be treated with compassion, love, care. You know what I'm saying? Um,
I just cut people off so quick when I don't get it.
but that's a result of childhood. That's a result of your
Correct.
childhood, right? So
Correct.
just because that's what you're so good at and that's what you're used to doing doesn't necessarily mean that's what you should be doing, right? That's also something that you
Touche.
learned, correct?
Touche.
So I think that first and foremost, you are operating in your authenticity and you are being genuine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we deserve respect,
Right, right,
love,
right,
care,
right, right.
concern, right? Compassion. But also within the same token, I think it's important to recognize that everybody is operating in their ego. Your ego is your thinking mind. Your ego is the thing that pumps you up. So, like you said, when she said what she said, like, Adam, you deserve this, you deserve, she was validating your ego.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And just like, the young lady that your last relationship didn't work out, and she was like, oh, well, I felt like blah, 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 blah. Like, she was validating her own ego.
True.
And so I think that it's important for people. Like, this is why they say, like, when you get in relationships and you get in relationships that you really want to work and you're really like working on communication, everything, like, you have to remove your ego. You have
And I
to.
believe I believe that as well. I'm a
And
true firm believer of that.
absolutely. And I think, well, so me and I gotta shout my girl Brandy B out. So we host a book club together. And the last book that we read is called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he talks a lot about the ego, and how the ego is your thinking mind, right? And the only way to really escape from your ego is to be present in the now. So, when you and I had this conversation when you were, hurting, which was a real thing, you were hurting. You were hurting. Okay.
Stupid.
You were.
I'm gonna tell y'all the story.
But while you were hurting, it was like you have to bring your consciousness back to what's going on right now, because the Adam from back then is not going through it. The Adam today, right now, is going through it.
Right.
And sometimes, like, when people are in relationships and you dealing with somebody who was a cheater, or you're dealing with someone who has constantly been cheating on, they have a hard time learning how to effectively communicate in the now, because they're constantly living in what happened before.
Right. That makes sense. But yeah, so let me tell y'all what happened was
Child. And tell them the truth.
I'm gonna give him the gist.
Okay.
I don't know what it was about this breakup. Like I say, it's got to be a God sin, because a God message or something. Because never in my life have I experienced such pain and heartbreak and agony and anxiety after a breakup in my life. And I'm talking about I was laying in bed crying. I'm crying throughout the day, just all in my feels.
Didn't even want to go to breakfast, or didn't even want to go to lunch with me.
Didn't want to go to lunch. Didn't even go to work that day. I was supposed to go to work. Didn't even go to work. And come to find out, though, it was mostly my ego and then a little bit of heartbreak. And come to find out, the ego was because I wanted to get another chance with
You
somebody,
wanted to spin the block.
and they was ignoring me and not responding to me and blocking me, and that's
That sent my guy on a tizzy.
oh we. But what was so crazy is that I didn't understand it until in hindsight that it didn't send me like I was angry or mad. It made my ego was bruised, but it made it seem like I was heartbroken,
And again,
which
talking
is
about the
crazy.
ego, like, it made you question you.
Yeah,
Her denial,
yeah,
right? Or not denial, but her rejection
uh-huh,
made you question who you were.
right.
And it made you question,
And I felt like
and
such a bad person.
that
That went through
thinking,
my
yeah,
head, like,
all
oh,
that, like, what did I do so wrong, and why am I so, and it's just
right,
like
like block me.
that ego, that ego, that ego. And it was constantly screaming at you and constantly
I was
talking to you.
looping
And
like
I
a
was
mug.
literally saying, like, best friend, this is your ego. And you just like, I don't understand.
I don't. It came here. I thought it through, and it's just.
Baby, let me tell y'all what. I have never, 21 plus years, I have never seen this man crash out
Crash
the way that he crashed out
out
over this young lady. And I don't even want to, I don't even want to give her that credit. I'm going to say crashed out over the situation.
for sure. It
You
was
know what
definitely
I'm
a
saying? I don't
situation
even want to give her that kind of
because
credit,
it wasn't that
because it
significant.
wasn't. It
10 weeks.
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't.
It that. That's why I say it had to be God
And I'm glad that
because
he
it was
did
10
whatever he
weeks
needed to do to get your attention.
and he got it.
I'm glad. I'm so happy.
I'm newly saved, y'all.
I'm
Newly
so
saved.
happy to hear that. But in all the years that I've known you, I've never seen you go through that. But I've also never saw you rejected either. I've never seen you rejected. You know what I mean? I see you do a lot of rejecting,
Yeah.
but I've never seen you reject it. And that's why I knew that that's what this was
Oh, you
about.
knew, huh?
I knew it. And,
That's crazy.
sometimes when people are going, like, they don't want to hear that.
In the
So that's
moment,
why I
for
had to be
sure.
like, okay, I'm going to tell them, y'all, my best friend called me and was like, I am not okay. I need you to come over here and rub my back and tell me it's going to be okay.
Like,
Never, ever had I experienced that from you. So I dropped what I was doing and I was on my way. You know what I mean?
shout out to my
And
best
in
friend.
that and in that moment, like seeing you so distraught and heartbroken, it's not the right time to say that to you, right? It's like
Oh,
that's
no, I
why.
called you like, man, I need you. I need a me to me. Like,
And
I need
then
you to
when you
talk my
called
shit
and
to
said
me.
that, okay. But even then you didn't listen, right? And you got some advice from someone who matched and mirrored what I said, but she said it a little
It was that
differently,
God sent a message
right?
in an unlikely source.
Exactly. And you were able to receive it a little differently. Just like when we talking to our kids. We give our kids advice all the time. They don't listen.
Right.
But the person down the street say the same thing and it's like, "Oh, that makes sense." You know what I mean?
Fact.
So the crazy part about it is for me, because I know you, the advice that you got came from someone who that was the last time I ever seen you hurt. That was the last
Mm.
time I ever really seen you hurt over somebody. You
Yeah, that
didn't
was a
play about her either.
terrible
You know what I'm
relationship.
saying? But with that, like I had never that was the last time I've seen you like emotionally distraught about a woman.
Right, right, right.
So to get that information and to be able to hear it from her, like to me that was powerful. I was just glad that somebody got through.
I was glad somebody got through because I was down
Bad.
bad.
I'm so
Ooh.
glad you were because I called you like, I'm so glad you're better because I need to say what I got to say. I was ready to come take your phone. You got to get off social media. You are crashing out. I mean,
Oh
I had people
man.
calling like, is he okay? He ain't, y'all. Leave him alone for a little bit. He just needs a minute.
I
But you're
need a
back.
minute, but I'm back.
And I love that for
Better
you.
than ever.
I love
Literally.
that for you. One day at a time.
One day at a time. So let's dive into these little questions.
Okay.
Get a little deep. So first question I got from you for you is growing up, were emotions something you were encouraged to express or something you learned to manage over time?
Okay. So I'm gonna answer that. But before I answer that, because you know my mama and I know my mama, I just want to start off by saying I think it is always important when we're talking about our childhood to remember that this is our parents' first time too, and they're figuring it out as well,
For sure.
right? Um, it was not that I wasn't encouraged to express my emotions when I was younger. It was just I wasn't taught how to manage them.
Mm.
So it took a lot of bumps and bruises and heartache and misunderstandings and lack of know how in order for me to get tired enough to go to therapy and be like, I got to figure
Get
this out.
tired enough.
Yeah, I got tired.
That's
I got
hard.
tired of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got tired of me and how I allowed everything around me to have some type of control over how I felt. And so I was like, I got to get in therapy. Like, I just can't do this anymore. And I had gone through some traumatic things when I was younger. I've talked about this before. I had been, molested by someone, that I was really, really close to at a very, very young age.
Mm.
And that resulted in me feeling like I needed to share my body in order to feel something real.
Mm.
And so all of those, and my mother didn't know that. I didn't even share that with my mom until year three, or I think it was like year four of therapy.
Mm.
I remember going into therapy and talking about it, and my therapist would always say, Ashley, you talk about it as if it happened to somebody else. And I
Mm.
did. That's how disconnected I was from it.
Dang.
Um, until we got into like year four, and then I really, really was like, okay, it's time to dig into it now. But yeah, I think that for me, I wasn't really taught. I wasn't discouraged. It wasn't like you better not be crying or nothing like that, But it was just like once the tears came, it was just like, oh, I guess I'm just crying. I don't. I mean, it was no real conversation about it's okay and, like process your feelings. I had never even heard the word process your feelings until I got to therapy.
Right.
And I didn't, again, I'll be 40 in January. That I started therapy at 34, 35.
Yeah.
So it took me 34 years to even hear that I'm allowed to like process and sit with them for a little bit. Like, that's okay. You know what I mean? I can actually like put a pause, like flag on the play and be like, I don't want to deal with any of this until I can process how I
Right.
feel. That, you know what I mean? Because when you're not in therapy, you automatically are just reacting.
Yep.
You're reacting and responding to everything without
Responding to life.
stopping,
Yep.
processing how you feel, sitting with how you feel, accepting how you feel, and then approaching the situation a little differently.
Mm, that makes sense. And I'm like I said, when you said like our parents this is our first time, their first time for the most part, that made me think about, me growing up and me going through, dealing
Hmm.
with middle child syndrome and all that
Hmm.
one stuff is like all this like this stuff is nuanced, like the emotional intelligence and sitting with your feelings and stuff like that. This is all new, so our parents didn't go through that, so they're just doing what their parents did or what they think is better or what they
And
think is
keep in
best at that
mind, a
time.
lot of our parents are still not wanting to address it.
Oh yeah,
They
facts.
still are looking like,
What?
oh, you went to therapy, that's good for you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, we definitely come from it's so funny. We come from a generation and we were raised by a generation. Oh, what's the quote that I saw? I just saw a quote the other day and it said, therapy, the people who need therapy are not the ones who come sit in the chair. Their victims are.
That's
Right?
hard.
And so we were raised by a generation of people that really should have been in therapy,
Yeah.
but didn't want to go. Then our generation raised up, we got tired of things being the way that they were
Uh-huh.
and decided, no, we want to do something different.
Right.
So now when our kids, right, like, my kids, they like, oh, I want to go to therapy at
Right.
16, 17 years old. At 16, 17 years old, I was cussing out teachers, running away from home, fighting. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, and here I am now being a mom, choosing to work on my stuff
Hmm.
so that I'm not passing that down to my kids.
That part.
You know what I mean? And they unfortunately had to go through years of me not focusing on that and probably bleeding on them from time to time, unintentionally, of course.
Right.
But, I just I hadn't figured it out yet, And the thing about therapy is even though I'm done, like I don't go every week now,
I about to
but
say.
yeah, like I have my tools. I put my tools in place. I utilize my tools, and when they ain't working, and I feel like I'm about to go from 0 to 100, I'm making a call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I can now recognize, like, okay, I'm struggling. I need to talk this through with someone who is not biased
Right.
and someone who can help me process how I feel, not tell me how to feel, but somebody who can help me process how I feel so that I can move
Yeah.
accordingly.
And I like therapy. I've been in it for a few years now, off and on. So probably a year or two.
Mhm.
I like it. Definitely having that person to kind of help you walk through your emotions and feelings and kind of connect dots for you. And I think that's the most important part, connecting dots for you so you can then be like, that's why I do that. That's why I
Mhm.
think like that. Let me work on that or let me improve that or let me change that about myself, whatever
Mhm.
case may be. I like that. I like
Yep.
that a lot.
I think it's also great too because in therapy you get to learn so much about yourself and you change what you want to change and what you don't want to change you don't.
That
You're
part.
just aware of it, right? One of the things that my therapist did that I absolutely love her for is she did blind spotting with me. So,
Mm,
blind spotting is a technique that therapists use when they basically, um, it's not hypnotherapy, but they basically get you to focus on an object and they're in tune with your body. And once they see that there is a certain place of discomfort, they make you sit in that discomfort. And we are such powerful beings. We don't even
mm,
understand how powerful we are. But remember, I told you when I was going through this whole process of disconnecting and disassociating myself with what happened to me.
mm.
Once she started to do brain spotting with me, I was able to like go all the way in the back and retrieve information and bring it to the forefront and pretty much solve the issue at hand for myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was able to answer my own questions. Sometimes you go into therapy and you like, why is this happening? Or
Yeah,
why did
yeah,
I
I
do
remember
this?
that.
And blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah. By the time we were finished, I was able to answer those questions myself.
yeah.
That
Like
whole
that.
thing.
I'm telling my therapist, but like, hey, this is blind spot. What you doing
Yeah,
over
do some
here?
brain spotting.
Brain
You'll
spotting.
like that. You'll like that.
Nice. All right. So a lot of people don't realize how family dynamics play a part in how they date and connect now. Like, for example, birth order.
Mhm.
Sometimes the oldest, you were in charge of everybody and had to babysit and all that one stuff. So now, as an adult, you feel like you're in charge and da da da
Control and everything. Yeah.
da. What do you think your, let's say, role was growing up as a kid and teen, and then do you think it has translated over into dating now?
So my mother did an actually really great job at not making me feel like I was responsible for someone else.
Mm,
I do have a little sister. I have one big sister and two little sisters. But my little sister, Kalia, lived in the home with us. Um, and I definitely took on that big sister role, but my mother did not force, like, you're responsible for this. You have to make sure
right,
she
right.
does this, blah, 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 blah. And by the time Kalia was, I think, like seven, no, she was about 8 or 9. She went to a program where she didn't even live with us anymore. So
Mm,
she would come home every other weekend. So I was able to like miss my sister, and be able to just build such an amazing relationship with her. However, seeing my mother's interaction with men, well, her lack of interaction with men, because my mom was very protective over, she was married at one point, and then when she got divorced, it was just like my mother could have whatever man she wanted. But if I ask, like, hey, are you dating such and such? She'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know? But she was very independent and she was very this no nonsense kind of woman, especially when it came to men.
hmm.
And because I had already been tainted and she wasn't aware of that, it made me run to men. It made me
Mm.
run for that feeling, that affection, that love, right? And so everything she taught me about a man, I did the opposite. Some things I wish I had listened. Other things I'm glad I didn't listen because there is work to be done on
Hmm.
her end. And I did the work. So I can see it a little differently from a different viewpoint.
Do you find yourself, that leads into the next question, do you find yourself repeating or have in future maybe repeating some of the habits that your mom exuberated? Exuberated. I got still putting the big words down there. Exuberated. Growing up like the lack thereof men around the kids or whatever the case may be.
Now, I did the opposite of everything my mama talked about.
Mm,
Um, I did not meet my dad until I was 18. I had a stepfather. My stepfather he was a good man. Okay. He had some, issues that everybody has something, right? Um, and those issues kind of caused some problems for them. And it caused problems for him and I. Um, but within that, just seeing what they went through, and then seeing my mom make this intentional choice about being alone, but she seemed so angry about it. I just, everything she said went in one
you
ear
don't
and
spook
out
on
the other.
that.
I was like, baby, I don't want that. I want me a man at home with me.
Right. Right.
And that sometimes led to some really bad choices.
Uh,
So, that's
yeah,
why I
I've been
said,
there for 21 years. I
yeah,
know. It's like not
you know. So, it was just like, again, some things I wish I had listened to my mother.
Hmm.
That probably would have protected my heart a whole lot more.
Okay, so another question I have is like sometimes when, let's say, when you are dating and things are good and calm, because some people do this. Like, do you find it like when things are calm and cool, do you feel like this is boring? Like it's too calm, it's too cool, collective. Like there ain't been no drama, there ain't been no arguments.
20-year-old Ashley absolutely would have been bored. About to be 40 Ashley welcomes the calm.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? I welcome the calm. I welcome the peace. I don't like I don't like being in confrontation with my person. Because when I'm with
Same.
somebody, he becomes my person. I don't want to be arguing and fighting with my person. And I went through that, right? And it did not do either of us any good.
Right.
There is still so much love between me and my ex, and I'm grateful because we both just realized, like, this is not what this is supposed to look like,
Right.
and there were mistakes made on both parts, right? So yeah, I welcome the calm and the quiet and the cuddles. And are we watching your show tonight or my show tonight? Like I
Yeah,
welcome that.
I like that. Let me make me another drink. Last season I was a lush and I was drinking all the wine and stuff. But this year, since I'm saved, well, this season now that I'm saved, I can't be drinking all the wine. You know what's so crazy? It don't say nothing about drinking being bad in the Bible at all whatsoever.
No, it talks
What it
about
says
being
is being
drunk.
drunk. So I have to
Baby, if
drink.
Jesus
I have to
turned
drink
water,
in moderation now.
if Jesus turned water into wine, I'm gonna have it.
You hear me?
I'm gonna have it.
So the thing is, you just can't be drunk.
Yes.
Drunk is a sin, but not drinking. So I said I'm gonna drink wine. I'm not gonna drink liquor as much,
Okay.
and if I do, it's gonna be in super moderation, which I was able to do. I went to a little festival last weekend. Only had like a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, like a drink, and then overdo it. So yeah, I realized that liquor that was part of that crash out. When I was drinking,
Whew,
babe,
put that
oh,
down.
I crashed out not when I was drinking. That was crazy.
Okay, so I want to ask the question because we talked about this at the beginning. Do you know what your attachment style is?
Yeah, I just discovered that I have an anxious attachment style.
A preoccupied. That's anxious, preoccupied.
I just seen a video.
Same.
I seen a video and he was talking about how someone with the anxious attachment style will like basically do so much up front to try to not necessarily win this person over, but be like, this is me, like
Put it all out on the
put
table.
it all on the table, and then once they see like they're not receiving something in return, they're like start questioning themselves,
Mhm.
and then they start pulling back, but then really, go back in and go hard. Like
I
it
would
was a really
always
good
walk
video.
into a situation ready to prove, like, you'll never find somebody better than
Oh,
me.
same.
And
Which I won't still though. Like I still won't find nobody better
big
than
facts.
me, but
But no, no. Okay, so that's good. So with you learning that, that's the kind of attachment style you have, what are you doing to become a secure attachment style?
oh, what's secure? I ain't looked at all of
Secure
them.
means you do not do that shit coming in the door.
So
Okay.
with this last one, which is an anomaly, and I don't like adding it to my history in a sense, in that respect. Not like it didn't count, but like just because it was such an anomaly,
Hmm.
how we met, the things that transpired after that. So it's really hard to gauge. But I do remember saying with the one before that, um, the short one with the dog. That's the one we've been referring to her as on here.
The short one with the dog.
That's
Don't
what
do my
everybody kept.
girl like that.
That's my. I mean, we cool. I mean, she cool. But I'm just had to
I got you. I got you.
have that. That's what everybody said. "Oh, you know, with the short girl with the dog. She was so cute. Y'all was so cute together. Um, Even with that one, I didn't do as much up front
Hmm.
because I learned it with the one before her
Hmm.
that I do too much up front. That's when I start writing my memoir.
Hmm.
Like I have this thing where I show all my cards up front, and then I give, and then not intentionally like I'm being petty, but at some point I'd be like, hold on, my cup is feeling low. And like, I realized, like, hold on, I've been doing all this showing, and haven't received anything, received my love language and all that one stuff. And now I have to take a step back and do all this other stuff. So I said, going forward, I'm going to stop doing that. So with Short with the Dog, I wasn't doing as much. Still felt like that was my person and all that, but I wasn't showing my cards up front as much. I wasn't doing the gift giving and the, oh, I can fix everything around this house and like I normally do.
I just putting this out here because this is my first time on the show. I love who I love. You know who I root for when it
Oh,
comes to you. But the short one with the dog, I liked her. I
but
liked her
that's
a lot.
second place.
A
Like,
second place. It's very clear who first is, and you know who I will forever root for. That is my girl, hands down. But
yeah,
the short one with the dog, I liked her. I
yeah,
liked
I
her a
liked her a
lot.
lot too.
I liked her a lot. I was
Just
really
those
sad when you.
those past traumas and that self sabotaging that she did. I couldn't had to get the axe.
Okay.
which I'm learning. And as I progress through this, I hope at the end of season 2 or somewhere in here, I learned the balance between giving grace and
Not playing about you.
giving grace and accepting that maybe we're just not a good fit.
Mm.
You know me, I'm such an all or nothing person. So for me, Brent, I gave her a lot of grace. You know, like, hey, you're creating narratives, and then you do this line of questioning, and it makes me feel like I'm a liar and I ain't shit nigga, and I didn't do anything for that.
I
And I
want to
gave her
ask this.
about 4 times of doing it, and by the fourth one, I'm like, you know what? It's a wrap.
I'm curious because we've kind of had this conversation before, like, and I feel like me and your other female best friend have asked this before, but
Oh yeah.
like, what's the what's the grace period? What's the grace period? Because you're saying like I gave 4 times, but y'all was it was only a couple months. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was like 4 times in a couple of months. Like, did you really put forth time and effort into being like giving grace? And I only ask this question, right? Because when I hear the word grace and how we're supposed like we extend it to others,
Uh-huh.
I think about how much grace God gives me. Baby, if he only gave me four
God gives
times, I'd be out.
unlimited though.
He does, and that is why they say, "Talk to Jesus, don't talk to me." However, I'm just asking for the basis of the conversation. Like, what is the grace period
So
that you
that's so
give
funny you say that
someone?
because your favorite pick,
Hmm.
we had that conversation about that, and she was saying the same thing. Like, what's the grace period? Like, it's still too quick. It's only been a couple months. So for me, um,
Because, and I ask that question again because it'll be a man like you who will come and say, "I hear you. I see the traumas. I see the issues. I'm gonna work with you," but then only give you 3 strikes and you're out, 4 strikes and you're out, right?
yeah.
And there's a fine line between, like you said, giving grace and understanding that we're not a good fit. But how are you determining that in such a quick amount of time?
So, say now. So for me, in that time, because of ego, I've done so much work in becoming who I am today. You know me for 21 years. Like you had to look, you had
I'm gonna
to
take a drink.
streak to that. You know where I come from, how I wasn't shit, how I was and didn't care and all that one stuff.
Mhm.
So I just feel as though that I'm such a good person that if I tell you your actions or behaviors is making me feel like XYZ, I wholeheartedly, because at this point, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, y'all only been dating for a month or a couple months. But by that time, they have said, not me, I ain't say it for them. They have said, you're different. Like, I've never had a man come over my house this soon. I never did XYZ with somebody so soon and da da da. You're different. So since you know I'm different and I'm presenting this to you as, hey, this is making me feel like XYZ, I'll wholeheartedly, this the big ego right
I was
here.
about to say, baby,
I
the way to
wholeheartedly
say
expect for
ego.
you to, I would think, because a lot of women, they be out there like, oh, if I had a good man, if I ever met a good man, I'll make sure he had never da 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 until they get a good man, and then those traumas show their head and they self-sabotage. Then that's what it be. So like you would think that if you had a man who was able to properly communicate, who was emotionally intelligent, who was able to show you that he's a provider, a protector, and blah, 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 all these good things y'all say y'all want, you would think that you would hear him say, "You're calmly, not even in arguments. Your behavior is making me feel like X, Y, Z, da da da. Like I don't like that. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like I've put so much work into myself. You need to work on that." You would think that, like, you know what? He's worth me working on that.
Mm, that's what you think.
That's what I think in my head. That's what goes through my head.
So,
So, with that being said, to answer your question,
mhm.
I do not expect immediate change. What I do deserve, verbiage, is immediate work towards.
What does that look like to you?
That looks like her specifically She creates the narrative. Da, da, da. I say, hey, you're creating narrative. I understand where you're going with that, but that ain't what happened. Da, da, da. This is what it is. You create that. Da, da, da. The next time I say it again, hey, you're doing it again. Like you're creating a narrative. Like you're putting these two things that have nothing to do with each other together to try to play out this narrative, but that's not right. Like, and you're asking me like, I answered your question, but now you're looping it again and changing the verbiage around to ask the same question again. Like, that's making me feel the same like ancient nigga. Like, I expect her to be like maybe a little bit still more combative. Like, but da is different than da da da. Okay, by that third time though, at least, because we're all grown. We're all grown. By the third time, at least, hey, you're creating a narrative again. I understand you're putting these two together, have nothing to do with each other. I expect by the third time to be like, okay, let me take a second. Let me go think. Let me da da da. I expect there to be some sort of action, visible action, towards working towards not doing it no more.
I hear you.
And not like a three strikes you're out, because I gave her,
Four.
it was like four ish.
You gave her four.
Ish.
Let me say this.
But that was four ish with zero. Like every time like you're doing it again, it was no, but nah, 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 nah. Like
I
okay,
think,
baby, we're just
and I want to say this in a broad sense, not just necessarily
yeah,
you
yeah,
and the girl with the dog, short girl with the dog. Um, that was my girl, man. I liked her, but I hear you. I hear you. I do. Um, I think there's two sides, right? Because when you say things like "I love you," you need to be very clear on if that love is conditional or not. And I believe that a lot of people say that and they have a lot of conditions that come with it
mm-hmm.
rather than it being unconditional.
Right,
On the other hand, though, because I do believe that the work needs to be done, um, I would hope that I would encounter someone who would see the trauma that tells me that they love me and they help me work through it rather than stacking up the errors and being like, you're out. Strikes, you're out. Because you said you love me.
right,
Um, and if you expect me to take 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus years of my trauma and know how to just miraculously no longer do it because you brought it to my attention because you brought it to my attention three times, I don't know,
good valid point.
so but I do understand you not putting in yourself in a position to continuously be berated or disrespected or being told that you're being someone that you're not,
Right,
right?
right,
I definitely get that. But I think once that L word comes into play, that amount of grace needs to look different. Now I'm not saying let somebody continuously cheat on you, put their hands. I'm not talking about
right,
that,
right, right,
right? I'm simply talking about recognizing that your person that you love, that you say you love, has some deeper seated issues,
right.
and working with them on that. Again, only with the basis of because you said you love this person, which again to me is kind of like what I've learned about me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a lover girl. I'm a hopeless romantic. Okay? If there was a movie title about me, it would be called The Hopeless Romantic. Um, I fall. I fall hard and I fall fast,
Same.
right? Um, but that is an extension of the attachment style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So something that we're actively and intentionally working on.
Right.
Um, but when I tell someone I love them, that love is unconditional because even when it doesn't work out, it doesn't go away. It doesn't
And
change.
I'm gonna drop a bar because Bible study last night.
Come on, Bible study, best friend. Come
My boy, you know, Bible
on.
study on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Discord. If you want the link, hit my DM. He said it best. Unconditional love doesn't mean without consequence.
Absolutely.
He cooked with that one. I heard like, oh, you cooked with
Absolutely.
that one. So for me, yes, we all deserve.
I'm just looking at your particular situation.
So granted,
Hold on, situations
with an S,
with an S. Um, Not this one, not the short girl with the dog, the one before.
the last answer.
Yes. Um, I
They all got
enjoyed
nicknames on the show.
I enjoyed watching you take your time there. I
I had the gas on
enjoyed
that one.
no. I enjoyed you taking your time getting to being in a relationship.
Yeah, it was the longest
It was
before
you
her. It
took your
was
time,
years.
right? And I do think it's important to take your time.
For sure.
You know
Same.
what I'm saying? These other two that we're talking about though, you did not take your time. And because you did not take your time, they literally got boom, 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 you're out. We're done. I love you, but we're out.
It was a year. It was like 2 years before the short girl with the dog.
What?
Year and some change.
Who are you talking to right now? Do you know who you're
It was
talking
a
to?
year and some
You
change.
are lying.
Since the burlesque dancer, that ended like a
No,
summer.
no, 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 no. I'm not talking about
Oh,
a year gap in between one
that's what
girl
I'm
from
thinking.
another
Yeah.
one. I'm talking about you meet, you like, you make your girlfriend.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm
For
talking
sure. Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got that
That's what I'm
one.
talking
So for me, one, that's the next thing I'm working on
about.
with the next one. Taking a little bit longer. Definitely gonna let it go at least 6 months. I was supposed to do that with this one, actually, the last one, but I felt a little pressure to make her my girlfriend because she was a fast mover.
I wasn't a fan of her, just to put that out there.
She was a fast mover, and that made me like go revert back to like, okay, we're gonna move fast then. Shit, my person finally who likes moving fast.
And look what God did. He said, "You silly, silly
You
guy.
silly goose.
You silly goose."
You silly goose.
And
Lay
to be
in bed and
clear,
cry.
I didn't even know her personally,
Yeah, you didn't
right?
even meet her.
So I didn't. I didn't.
That's how in and out.
And when you told me about her, it was like, oh, okay. But she was beautiful. She
Yeah,
was
for
beautiful.
sure.
Um,
She treated me so well though.
and I did not feel like that. I didn't feel like that because of the other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
And
red flags that I
yeah,
ignored.
like you ignored a lot of red flags.
Speaking of, we're gonna go into that as a
Let's do it.
question. But before I go to that, so yes, the thing that I have to think about and discover, as well as y'all, is how much grace to give.
You only really know how much grace
And my grace
that you can
with her was
extend.
4 times. The grace with the last one was once. She did something once, and I was like, "You're out." Then I got back with her 3 days later. Then she did something again. I was like, "You're out." So this last one, I didn't even give as much grace as the one before that. So for me, that's what made me go into the depression and crying in the bed because I'm like, I'm just such a bad person because I just cut her off so soon. I gave other people who didn't even deserve it more chances. That was the whole ordeal I had loop in my head. But my thing is this, and like you said, only we know how much grace
Hmm.
is too much or enough. And
Absolutely.
for me, like I said, like I told your favorite, for me, I accept progress or even attempted progress as like, okay, you know what? She's trying. I see she has those traumas and I love her enough to help walk her through, which one of the like I broke up with her. I think we talked about it when I broke up with her for she used to overreact. I don't know if I ever told you about that because it was only like
No.
a short one with a dog.
Okay.
We
You
broke up
did.
for like
You did.
29 hours because she was do the thing a lot of women do, overreact, come back an hour later, a day later. I'm sorry, I overreacted, da da da. And I got tired of that. So I worked there, so I broke up with her because of that. And then for 29 hours, I thought about it. Like, you know what? Is overreacting a deal breaker for me? Or do I have the emotional intelligence, the emotional wherewithal to handle that And I decided, you know what? If I have to deal with this, and that's what it boils down to for me. See, I love having these revelations on live. For me, that grace, it boils down to, can I deal with this for the rest of my life or not? So for her to resurrect, I'm like, you know what? I can deal with this for the rest of my life. If she does this, I can just sit here and take it. She's gonna overreact. She's gonna be back in an hour apologizing to her tomorrow. And then she overreacts and we have our little thing, and then she goes away and she comes back and apologizes. I can deal with that. But being treated like an ain't shit man because you created a narrative in your head that really don't make sense when you put the facts all together, but you're forcing them to make sense. That's not something I can live with forever. And since I can't live with that forever, and you're not showing me any progress, that's where we're probably not a match right now because you have stuff to work on. So I think that's where my grace kind of ends. Can I deal with this for the rest of my life? Because if you don't set, not necessarily set a number, but if you don't set a draw a line in the sand, let's say that. If you don't draw a line in the sand somewhere, then you're gonna probably deal with that forever. I would, if had not I left, I would probably still be dealing with that to this day, because she would not see nothing wrong with what she does, and I
Your
would still be
ego
doing
is
with it.
talking.
Where's the ego in
Your
that?
ego is absolutely talking because how do you know what she would do? You know that
Touche,
you feel me?
touche,
You didn't even know her for a year. You didn't even take
touche.
the time to really get to know the depths of who she was
So with
as a
that said,
woman.
though,
Hold on. So I'm watching you.
go ahead. You can.
So and I say your ego is talking because like you're in therapy, right?
Right.
It's been a year or two.
Uh huh.
It's so much still within you that you have to unpack
Right.
for you to recognize the patterns that you have. Short girl with the dog
It's
was
so
a
funny to hear somebody else say it.
because I really just want to say her name, but whatever.
Legal is gonna get on me, and
I'm not gonna say her name. Short girl with the dog. Little cutie patootie. She uh what I'm trying to say is like there's still so much work to be done for Adam. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Like you are validating your ego by convincing yourself that you handled that situation.
I'm gonna put this as a question because I don't think so.
And that's okay. We agree to
I
disagree all
think
the
that
time. I'm not saying that y'all should have not split.
Mhm. I miss a
But
dog though,
but bet that dog misses you. But what I am saying is there's still so much Adam work to do.
for sure.
Continuing to point out short girl with the dog don't do no work is your ego.
But she
To
didn't
continue, but she
in
was
those 4 little times.
that's what thank you. In your short little time frame, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't enough work done for you. But
I ain't say enough. There was zero.
there's still
There's
so
a
much
difference between enough, what because verbiage matters.
it does.
Words matter.
It
There's
does.
a huge difference between enough and zero.
And for you there was zero.
Not for me. There was zero. There was real life zero.
No, I'm saying for you it was zero.
No.
That was your perception that it was zero. Because you
Yeah.
don't
So.
know if she was going to church and having, revelations or having
Oh
people
yeah, yeah.
because she was definitely calling me.
Back end thing. She
You feel
called
me?
you after the fact.
No, she called me she called me
Well, you
a
should have
couple
told her
times.
to listen to me and shape up our ship out.
There's that ego.
There's
Thank
the
you very
ego.
much. Thank
And
you
there's
very
the
much.
ego.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But in that moment, like I said, it's not necessarily ego. It's our boundaries. I said it's in the sand. Like I'm not a three strikes you're out type person, but at some point you have to stand on your boundary. If my boundary is don't treat me like an ain't shit man because I don't deserve it, and preface that with preface that with the multiple probably twice conversations that we had where I literally set her down, not during the argument, not after argument, set her down and listen. I understand you've been through things. I understand you have traumas, You have 30 plus years on earth, but I didn't do it.
Hmm.
I don't deserve, you can call that ego or what, I call it boundaries. I don't deserve to have to dig myself out of a hole that I did not put myself in.
I 100%
With
agree
that
with
being
that.
said, I'm here to work with you through your things, but you have to be willing to listen and be willing to work on things. And she said, okay, this little cute little cry face with the little
Hey,
puppy
don't do
cheeks.
her like that, bro.
She's so cute.
Don't do
I
her
miss
like
her.
that.
Um, and at that point, after I've communicated that with you, again, 4 times, 5 times, and you show zero effort in working on that, you're not ready at this point because your traumas and how you were brought up is self-sabotaging
But
this
your
relationship.
traumas are telling her you got 3, 4 strikes and you're out. Your traumas are telling her, do what I said or I'm gone. Your traumas are putting a cap on how much wiggle room she has to mess up or not mess up.
So let's dissect that.
Please, let's do it.
Is that trauma or is that just a set boundary?
No, that's your trauma because we already
So let's
know. We already
eliminate.
know from your childhood and the middle childhood syndrome, and you not being able to speak up for yourself and let whatever's
No, I wasn't able to leave the
or leave
situation where I
whenever.
felt
Exactly.
mistreated or
So we know from
unloved.
your trauma that the minute you don't feel like you being that treated as if you are who you are, you're out of there.
Correct.
So your traumas put a time limit on, or not your time limit, but your traumas put her in a box that said, hurry up and work on it. Hurry up and start showing me that you're going to make progress
There we
on it
go.
or I'm gone.
Perception. Hurry up. Time frame. So, that's a good point
Thank you.
because, and I could put this. I need to put this out there like a poll. I think that's be a good poll. How much time should you give someone? How much time and our occurrences
Okay.
should you give someone before you be like, okay, you're showing zero progress. We must not be a good match right now. I'm out.
That's a great poll. That's a great poll. I'm
I
going to
want
go
to
right
see
here.
you somewhere. It's probably gonna be living on its own somewhere. But
That's good.
for
That's
me
good.
in this situation, it was 4 times.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
don't think that was ego. That was me expressing myself. And so crazy. This is the crazy part because before the last time we did a little pinky promise.
She
I
is
don't think I
so
ever,
cute.
I don't know if I told you about that. She did something. We were in the bed and she brought up something old as heck, an old narrative. Brought it up again that we already I thought fucking solved like fucking Scooby Doo crew, Scooby Doo movie or whatever. I thought we already a clue. I thought we already solved it.
Hmm.
Brought it back up again, and I remember hopping out of the bed and I was putting my stuff on like, and she was there crying and I'm right to like you're doing it again. And I'm right to like, all right, look, look, one more time. Let's pinky promise right now. If you do it again,
I remember that.
we just must not be a fit, and we're just gonna break up. It ain't gonna be no hard feelings. We just must not be a match right now. Let's pinky promise and sure. But what if you something she has said? I'm like, you have to. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? Yes. Okay. So if you trust me, then that means you ask me a question. I give you an answer. Since you trust me and I'm not a liar in your eyes, you have to take that answer.
I think
That might
that
be ego, but I also think that's common sense.
I think that
And she did it again, and then
emotional
I broke.
intelligence, I think an emotional intelligent person has enough bandwidth to ask certain questions and help a person see the error in their ways instead of just like boom, 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 boom.
That's a great point. Which is crazy because your favorite said, "Did you help her process? Did you give her some other options,
And you didn't. You just kept telling her how wrong she was for treating you the way that
which would make her go
which is
retreat deeper into her protection mechanism?"
absolutely.
I'm sorry, girl with a dog. I'm sorry, girl with the dog.
Oh my
But no, but I
God.
told you, and I told quite a few people, like that's one that I think I should have gave a little bit more grace,
Grace.
a little bit more grace, because she was
And
great,
I say that because you and I have had multiple conversations about the kind of woman that you wanted as far as bracket and
and she checked all those
and she
boxes
checked every single box.
for sure.
Every single box.
And that's why I was sorry we had to break up.
And y'all didn't have to. You made that choice. And and with her, like, one of the things that you continue to tell me all of the time was, A dot, we just have so much fun. It's just
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah.
And she constantly made you laugh. She constantly had you in a good
She
mood
was a
right up
comedian.
until, yes. And then when I got to meet her, it was like, oh shit, you are just as goofy as he is. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
I mean, I'm still gonna always root for who I'm rooting for, but I was a fan of Girl with the Dog.
Yeah,
Like, for sure.
here you say that, it's
For
crazy.
sure. I mm, I'm glad you apologized to her.
What you know what's so crazy? I need to go on an apology tour.
You think so?
Yeah, my dude said he went on an apology tour, my Bible study. I'm like, you know what?
I
Because
think
I
that would
think
be good
that
for you.
I hurt a lot of people unintentionally. Granted, they should just listen to me. Ego.
Ego. Thanks.
All they had to do was listen. I'm simple. Just listen. Um, but in hindsight, it was still like I know I probably put them through the ringer.
For sure. And you definitely, when you ready to go and end some things, you cut your feelings off so fast. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why God was like, "Watch this,
watch this.
Usher."
What?
Okay, Adam, watch this. Had me in the bed, probably like them, crying and bawling my eyes
But I think an
out.
apology tour might be good for you. I think it might be good for
She
you.
had me blocked though.
Eh, there are ways.
Yeah, I might get a message over to her. I know some people who know some people.
Yeah, there are ways. I think an apology tour will be good though. I
But also, just, and my kind side is like, what do you want to open those wounds? Like they probably on with their life and they ain't think about you. So now you get this
but you know
apology
how they
tour and her now they're in
say
her head.
forgiveness is for you. Like an apology, that's
Oh,
not for them.
yeah, you're
That's for
right.
you. That's you taking
Then
accountability
that's
for your
selfish and
actions.
ego.
No, that's you taking accountability for your actions on how you treated someone. The Bible also says before you come and you ask me to pray for somebody or do something for somebody or whatever the case may be, make sure you go right the wrongs that you did out there first.
Mm.
So,
I'm newly saved like 2 weeks now. I can't wait till next year. I'll be Matthew 2:6 said,
yeah, I don't know them like that.
I'm gonna
So,
be like that. You know me, I'm all or nothing.
but you know,
So
it does tell you to go fix the grievances that you have with your brother and sister before you come and ask me for something when it pertains to
yeah,
whatever. You
I'm
know
gonna
what I
fix
mean?
those
So
grievances
if you,
because I know they got grievances against me.
it's
Like I said,
her
I'm still
job
blocked.
to forgive you, to extend forgiveness to you for her. It's
Hmm.
your job to hold yourself accountable to your actions on how you treated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody. Um, and honestly, this last situation, it absolutely 100% was karma.
Damn, you gonna
It
say
was
that though?
karma. It
That's
was karma.
crazy.
It's not. It's absolutely. It was absolutely
Was
karma.
it karma? Or was it this guy like, hey, the accident where you
I
could have
mean,
died, but I let you walk away, ain't humble you and make you come back to me
was
and
it? Could it
serve.
have been God? Absolutely. Do I think it was God and karma? 100%.
That's
And
crazy.
I only say karma. You definitely left situations that you didn't feel like you were being treated the way that you deserved, right?
Right.
And because those women felt the way that they felt about you, they struggled with letting go.
That was the best man they ever had.
They struggled with letting go. Okay.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
They struggled with letting go. And when they struggled with letting go because you had already emotionally detached yourself, you were an asshole.
What?
You
Asshole?
were an asshole.
Oh, that was an asshole.
I got the call the next morning from the night y'all broke up. I got the call the next morning. Actually, I got the call from you that night. Then I got the call from her the next morning. I heard what you said. You were an asshole. You were an asshole.
I didn't say nothing assholeish.
Oh, you think that? You really think that? I'm not gonna remind you what you said. You were an asshole. Trust me. I've been your best friend for 20 plus years. You were an asshole best friend. Okay?
Hey, that was
Because
a deal. I said you do it one more time.
no,
You
no,
do
no,
it
it
one
ain't
more
even the
time. We're
breakup.
out.
It's not even the breakup. It's the way that you make it known like I'm cool after the breakup.
Yeah, I do.
It's once you detach your feelings.
Yeah, I do that.
You see what I'm saying? And so you literally just went
So I see
through.
why I needed that karma. 'Cause I was not able to detach from this last one,
and
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 for
and and
what?
and it just really baffled me.
It still
But
baffles me to this day.
I it's
I
more
told my brother
important.
today, like, I still don't know why it's still there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say I'm glad, okay, that it happened and it's over,
Uh,
and that it's brought you to a space of self-reflection
mm-hmm.
and it's brought you to God. Anything that
Definitely
happens
brought me
that
to
brings you
God
to God is a blessing in disguise. And
for
so
sure.
I am happy that you have been blessed with heartbreak. And
The Lord draws near to the brokenhearted. That's what he had. That's what he. Had, well, that's what he had to do. He had to make me feel brokenhearted. I'd never felt broken heart before. I wasn't broken heart with.
back in the day,
No, that wasn't. That was. I still don't know. That was just
let me tell you
emotional
what.
distraught because that was the most
Let me tell you what.
verbally abusive relationship I've ever been
What
in.
our friendship went through for that relationship
But
to.
that wasn't because of broken heart. And
No, no, no. I'm not saying
that was
anything
dealing with
about
somebody who
broken
had
heart.
insecurities.
I'm just pointing out that what our
Okay.
friendship had to go through in order for that to even get to wherever it ended up,
Right.
that was nerve wracking for me. Okay,
Right.
that was nerve wracking for me. But because you and I have been so close over the years, like you my baby's goddaddy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have been there for all the important moments.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there from the days I came home from the hospital. You were there for the tears. You
Mm-hmm.
were there for the why my baby daddy want XYZ. You
Uh-huh.
was there for the how come this man treat me like ABC. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like you were there for all of the things. I can say like I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
I'm
best friend.
so proud of you because even though there's still work to be done now, you have drastically, and I mean fucking drastically, changed the way that you see yourself, um, and absolutely changed the way that you want to be intentional about the way you treat people.
Mm.
Now, we gonna keep working on how you are when you break up with folks. However, you're just out the gate. The way you treat people is so beautiful to see, A Dot,
Thank you.
because
Thank you, best friend.
you was motherfucker for the
I was trying to tell people, like people who just got used to me, just got
Woo!
hip to me. They see this nice guy, like I was a likable asshole.
Yes,
That's how like I was a likable
you were a
asshole.
kind asshole.
I was a likable
You were. You
asshole.
were. You
Arrogant,
were.
likable asshole.
Baby, that man drove around with a cartoon picture of himself on his own car. Okay? Nobody loved him more
Nah.
than himself.
Granted, it was for promotional
It
purposes,
was. It
but
was.
I definitely put my face on every one of my jewelry stores. They know this is my store. Look at my face on my store. So yeah, for sure. It's like that.
What would you say are the three things that you are most proud of when it comes to your personal growth?
Oh, three things I'm most proud of. Um, One, like you said, how I treat others,
Mhm.
how far I've come as a man, for sure. That's a big one. And the third one would be my willingness and openness to still work on myself and see change. For
Those are
sure.
good. Those are good.
For sure.
I'm going to give you my three.
Your three for me?
Hmm
That's go ahead.
and I've been wanting to say this out loud because every birthday or Father's Day or Mother's Day, we get to say this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, but I am proud of the father that you are. I know that you have gotten a lot of slack over the years from baby mamas' husbands, baby mamas' boyfriends, baby mamas' families, people that think they know a situation that they don't, right?
All right.
I am very proud of the father that you are. I think that you have done your very best. with the situations at hand that have kind of been laid out for you. Um, and even being your best friend, I don't know everything, right? But I know that you try, and I know that you make an effort. And as someone who dealt with someone who did not do those things, I am very proud of the kind of father that you are. And I think that this recent incident where you had a conversation with somebody and it started to feel a little better, I think even being able to have that conversation and have that person showing up is a testament to how good of a father you have been. Because it wouldn't have been me. Okay?
So you would have called that baby daddy for shit. They could
Baby,
have been like, oh, I don't want to be here no more. You'd have been right there like,
suck it up. Suck it up. You know what I'm saying? But so the kind of father that you are, um, I will also say that I've seen you go through multiple stages of skill set. Okay. And so this is a testament to what you said about the kind of man that you are. Ain't nothing, you ain't been a lazy bum, dumb diddly dickhead nigga that no. Like, you are passionate about things, and when you are passionate about things, you give it your all. You jump full fledged into it. You learn what you need to learn. You know what I'm saying? You do what it is that you need to do to get the job done. And a lot of men don't do that. And so I commend you on that.
thank you.
And then the third one I'm going to say is just my own personal thing. I want to take a moment to just say thank you. Um, because showing, like, it is hard raising kids. It is very, very hard raising kids. It is harder raising them by yourself. It is harder raising them by yourself when you don't have anybody. Um, and I have probably told this story maybe on my show before, but we on yours, so we're gonna take a minute to just pat you on the back. Um, but at one point, your godson didn't want to be here no more.
Right.
And that whole school year, you called every day, every morning, just to talk to him and remind him of who he was. You will forever be one of my favorite people because of that. Because raising kids is hard. And I did not have anybody, like a man. I'll say that. I did not have a man that took it upon himself to be intentional about my son until he got into the Forever Kings program. But before he had Forever Kings, he had his godfather. And you ain't missed a beat. You make sure you reach out and call on birthdays. You show up to graduations or parties or any accolades. Like, you have just always been very present. And I got other male friends, right, who love my kids, who are like, oh my gosh, Ash, you've done such a great job with your kids. They're awesome, but they're not present. And I ain't shading them for it. Everybody's got their thing.
Right.
But I'm going to take a second to say thank you because you were intentional about making sure you showed up for my babies. And that is probably the three things that I am forever just super proud. Like, so I don't care when they come and be like, oh, you best friends with Adam, he's a whore. Okay, well, that's fine.
They ain't
This
say
was the
that.
back, this was the old Adam.
I'm about to say that.
Now they
I
don't
don't
say that
say it
no
no
more.
more.
They don't
Like,
say that no more. But back in the day when it was like, he's a whore. Okay, well, he's a good one because he shows up for my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even, in times like me and you just hanging out, like, I'm not your woman, but you always treat me with so much respect. You hold doors for me, you pay for
of
me,
course.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have no nigga laid up at home and I'm in need, a dot, I need XYZ, and you like, I got you.
I
You know
got
what
you.
I'm saying? And I will never take that for granted. I don't care what they say about you. I don't care what their perception of you is. You are my nigga forever. I love you and I'm super proud of you. And I just want you to continue to take it one day at a time.
Thank you so much, best friend.
You're
I
welcome.
love you so much.
I love you
We're gonna
too.
toast to that. We usually do a fire round question, but we're gonna just end it on that. I love you so much.
I love you too, and thank you so much because this was actually really good. So we'll pour me another one before I.
Go ahead and take a picture of it because that might be your new little
That
favorite. One
this
of your new little
might be
favorite.
the thing for me. This might be the one.
So there y'all have it. Season 2, first episode with my best friend of 21 plus years. She gave y'all the real, gave y'all a little bit more insight to me and my life and my emotions behind the scenes. And that's what this season is really going to be about. Like I'm really want to tap into emotions and feelings and really dissecting what's really blocking us from connection, which most of the time be ourselves.
It does. It does. Whether it's the person that you are trying to connect with or if it's you.
Yeah. So cheers to season 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you.